Alright, Professor Bright here, and we're going to begin section 1.2 where we talk about properties of real numbers. Every section there's going to be this sort of cover slide where I'm going to say, okay, here's the learning target. This is what you need to do by the end of this section, and this is essentially what I'm going to quiz you on. Okay, so pay attention to this. If you can do this and you can say, yes, I can do it, or then maybe just make sure to get some more time and come visit me and just ask, okay? Now, to reach that learning target, we're going to do some steps. So there's these, and they correspond pretty much to the videos that you're going to see. So in this first video, we're going to talk about mathematical terminology. Boring stuff, but required. We need to be able to use the language properly. And you need to understand me when I'm talking to you in math. Okay, and then we're going to talk about order of operations. We remember that, but we maybe need a little bit of a refresher. And then we're going to use some properties of real numbers. Okay, so terminology, let's get started. All right, first thing, we're going to have something like this appear to us, and you'll see that there are different colors. Yes, we'll go through and explain all these. All right, so first of all, you'll notice that there's the numbers, so the real numbers, 3, -2, and 7 are all in red, and those we use the language of constants because they're a real number, okay, and their value is fixed, okay, versus, okay, and then you'll see like x squared, y squared, x plus y, and z. Okay, so anything that is a normal English letter, we think of that as a variable, something that has a non-fixed value, or just something that we don't know the value of. Okay, so when I use the language of constants and variables, make sure you have that distinction. Okay, and also I should say, as you're watching this video, it might not hurt to jot down these definitions. Constant is something that has a fixed value. A variable has either an unknown value or a value that can change. Okay? Now, next is this language of terms. Okay? We're talking about terms with terminology. Yay. Terms are any so parts of an expression like this that are joined are separated by addition or subtraction. Okay, so notice that in here we have a subtraction sign and we have an addition sign. Those subtraction and addition signs, technically you can look at this as a negative as well. So you could say plus and -2. Doesn't much matter. But the separation, or the addition and subtraction, do separate this expression into different terms, and we need to talk about this as like the first term, the second term, and the third term. All right. Within a term, we then talk about the coefficients, and really this is where the language is a little confusing. Coefficients really are just the constants in each term. So the 3, and I'll erase this so we don't get confused. The 3, the -2, and the 7 are both constants and coefficients. Okay, we use the language interchangeably, and more often than not, I'm going to use the language of coefficient. All right. Then the last term that we have to discuss, or the last bit of terminology, I should say, is this idea of factors. And so the idea of a factor really is within a term, it's all the pieces that are multiplied together. So within this term 1, okay, this first term, there are 3 factors, okay, because there are 3 pieces being multiplied together. Similarly, in this one, there's actually only 2 factors. Okay, because there's only one multiplication sign, and again, we're omitting the multiplication sign when we put everything smushed together. And again, here there are 2 factors. Now, typically when we discuss factors, we also discuss like a coefficient factor and a variable factor. That just means if we have coefficients or variables. That's really all it means. All right. So this video is kind of the basis for the rest of the semester in terms of language that we're going to use. So make sure that you're really solid on these different pieces of terminology here that we discussed: factors, coefficients, terms, constants, and variables.